and welcome to the special episode of the Misclick Podcast, where there's only two of us today.
Hi! We are alone. It's just the duo today.
Yeah, Krakka will be surely missed. He is very busy at the moment.
So, it's just gonna be us today.
It's just gonna be us. And I was very tempted to call this the Zealand Podcast. because you're from New Zealand and I'm in Denmark on Zealand, the island. So.
Huh. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So yeah, I guess we could go with that for this special episode, the Zealand Podcast.
The special E3 Zealand Podcast.
E3 Zealand Podcast.
Okay,
exactly.
See, this is why you come up with the titles. I just sit here and blurt things because they never make any sense.
So yeah, the plan for this show has always been, for this show in particular, the fourth episode, to make a E3 special, because as we all know, E3 came and went, but at the time where we were going to make a normal episode, one, we were all very busy, and two, it would have been released and we would have been recording right when Microsoft would have their press conference.
So it was a little bit of like a clusterfuck.
Yeah, we had a long discussion, like, should we go with it? Should we just try to guess what would be there? Should we wait after E3? What should we do?
And yeah, so now we are here. A few weeks later.
Yeah, but I guess it works.
It just works. As Todd Howard would say, it just works.
Just perfect. Because I hope you guys are interested in listening to what our thoughts are behind E3. Because, let's face it, there was both good and bad stuff announced at E3. And overall, it was pretty mediocre.
With a lot of cringe.
Yeah, but that seems to be unavoidable.
Yeah, there's always going to be E3 cringe in some way, shape or form. But it was just an extra dosage this year.
Looking up the entire conference videos on YouTube, typing it in the search bar, one of the first suggestions were adding cringe to the end. So.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a lot of cringe that came out of E3, especially with I think it was like EA's conference or Microsoft's. They had some YouTuber come in to do like a little intro thing.
Goodness.
I think it was the guy from Boyfriend vs. Girlfriend, the prank YouTube channel, and it was not good. He didn't know what he was doing.
No. Oh my god, he was from another planet.
I think video gaming might have been a little bit out of his league, just by a smidge.
Yeah, perhaps. So, we are just going to jump right into it, because we have a lot to cover. At least, I mean, I always forget how many there were, like, presentations. Around 6?
All I know is that the main conferences were E3, Microsoft, and there was PC gaming.
EA, not E3.
Oh, EA.
I make that too all the time. God damn you, EA.
And then there's like Bethesda and PlayStation and then Nintendo.
So anyway, let's start with the EA conference. And for a while, the first note on my EA thing was sports and guns, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what EA's always filled with. I think I've also written notes as well, because sadly during the time that we were going to record this little special, my laptop carked it, so I had to watch E3 on the TV. So I sat down, wrote some notes, and regarding EA, I shit you not, I have a note here, and it's just written in all caps, and it says, "Anthem is a poo."
Already there, I'm surprised, because that's only like a very short teaser that didn't say much.
It has Anthem as a poo, sports. And that is my, those are my initial EA thoughts when I was watching at the time.
We're going to talk more about Anthem when they had their full release or reveal trailer during the Microsoft conference. But to begin with, some of the key things that EA announced was Battlefield 1 is getting an expansion, standalone thingy. I don't play Battlefield 1, so this is not particularly interesting for me, but it might be for other people.
I know that it's going to be getting a campaign. I think it's actually Battlefront 2. I want to say Battlefront 2 or Battlefield 2.
Yes.
There's so many battle
they
things.
ended with that.
So there's too many battles for one person to comprehend. But they did announce that it was going to have a campaign mode as well as, your multiplayer. So they were doing a lot of promo for that.
Promos like only EA can do them.
But apparently the way that they do them is by bringing out hot chicks.
Yeah. Apparently so.
I mean, it makes sense considering that apparently she was the voice actress for the character that you're going to be playing in the campaign.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She did the whole thing, and it's... I mean, it was... To me, it seemed like that, of course, she was paid to be there, and she was also paid to say things like, yeah, we all played the first Battlefront, and we wanted changes, and they made them, and we all cared about the first one. And like, have you played the first one?
Yeah. One thing I will say about the game is that it actually, the campaign side of things seems interesting since you're going to be playing as, the bad guys, you're going to be playing as pretty much a stormtrooper. So I find that interesting. But for me personally, I've never been so into those particular types of games. Because I like story. I like meat. I like meat in my games.
Yeah.
That meat being the story.
Exactly. And if I ever have to play a online first-person shooter, or in Battlefront's case, third-person. I guess it's third-person. Anyway, if I have to play an online multiplayer shooter, it has to be Overwatch. I'm sorry, there's no other thing.
It's the same for me, honestly. I mean, if you try to do like a multiplayer game with like, I don't know, some kind of like side story element, then a lot of people are probably gonna be gravitating towards the multiplayer rather than the campaign. I've noticed with like titles that have both of those options.
Yeah, also why Andromeda will only be getting multiplayer DLC from now on, but that's a side track. Not gonna talk more about Andromeda. EA, they wrapped the whole thing up by talking about Battlefront 2, but before that, they also showed Need for Speed, a new game that looked a lot like Fast and the Furious. So I guess that's their direction they're going.
I'll admit that when I was younger, I absolutely loved Need for Speed. Like, I had quite a few games. I think it was Need for Speed Undercover.
Underground? Game, yeah, they also made Undercover, I think, but
Yeah, but it was either Undercover or Underground. I can't remember. It's been so many years. I don't even have the game anymore. But, as a former Need for Speed fan, I did find it somewhat interesting just to see where they're going with the series these days.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I'll admit, you are right. It did remind me quite a bit of Fast and Furious.
Yeah. And the one thing that excited me the most was A Way Out.
Oh yeah, that looks really good. Really good.
Very interesting use of split screen. I really liked how it would not just divide the screen into like straight in the middle, but it would kind of turn itself around depending on what people were doing. And another interesting thing is that, of course, it's designed to play couch co-op, but if you play it co-op online, it would still have the split screen thing, so you can see what each other are doing.
Oh, really? I didn't actually know that.
So it's probably a key thing to know where everyone's at. And it just sounds like such a cool idea. Like, you're two men stuck in prison. You want to escape. You need to figure out a way. So it looks very, very promising, and I can't wait to see more.
Plus, there's not many like games these days, because couch co-op with a split screen. I mean, that's kind of old school now.
I guess,
if you think about it. I mean, not many games are doing that these days. So
sadly.
Sadly, because but for A Way Out to sort of bring it back in a sense and make it look so promising, then I'd say it's going in the right direction, because from what I've seen of it, it looks really good. And it actually, at first I thought it was a Naughty Dog game. Because it looks like, graphically, it looked a lot like Uncharted.
Yeah, like very realistic.
But I do like the split screen as well. I think that's really awesome that they're going to be doing that. Because there's not enough split screen games anymore. No one does it.
No. And there are plenty of games where I'm like, yeah, then I can play this with my friends when they come over. And I'm like, no, it's only online multiplayer. Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, if you don't like playing online with a bunch of, like, strangers or whatever, and, you could just invite your mate around and just have a good time. So that's a cool thing that I liked about A Way Out. I think that was the only thing that I did find promising from the conference.
Yes. From EA's, anyway.
Yeah, from EA's in particular. I mean, that was the standout for me.
Just to see another game from the guys that made Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, that's worth to have a look at, because that game was great. So, that was EA. Not much to say, I guess. I mean, it's all sports and games with guns, man.
I mean, usually with EA, it's like sports, Star Wars, sports, new thing, and sports.
And Battlefield, and that's it. End of conference.
Yeah. And apparently there's a counter for how many times they said the word Star Wars during when Battlefront's thing came out.
Yeah.
And there was a lot. Just Star Wars, multiple Star Warses.
I'm glad I wasn't a part of that drinking game.
I think if there was like a legit drinking game, a lot of people would be in a coma.
Absolutely.
Because it was said quite a lot.
So, yeah. I'm sure there were some titles in there that interested some people, but not me in particular. Sorry.
Well, I don't think EA was anyone's cup of tea this year, if you think about it.
Nah.
I mean, when have they ever been? Let's be real.
When they announce good stuff, I guess.
True.
Anyway, moving swiftly on to the next conference, which was Microsoft. And Microsoft is always my favorite to look forward to, anyway. Because I have been an Xbox gamer for a long time, so I'm always interested in what they're working on, and especially this year because we're going to reveal more stuff about the project formerly known as Scorpio, which now got its full name, Xbox One X.
It's such a silly name.
Dear Lord, what's with the names these days? Come on, guys.
What was wrong with Scorpio? I mean, I know
Yeah.
that sounded fine if they just released it as like, I don't know, Xbox Scorpio. They'd be like, oh shit, that sounds fucking awesome, but good lord.
It's the same with freaking Nintendo, with the Wii and the Wii U, and then they released the 3DS, and oh hey, 2DS without a 3D, and hey, new Nintendo 3DS, and then new Nintendo 2DS. It's like, why is that your... It's stupid, and it's so bad business. Saying, hey, I want the new Nintendo 3DS. I mean, of course you will be right because that's its name, but I mean... Anyway, one last thing I will mention, though, about Xbox One X as a name is that its abbreviation is literally Xbox. XBOX. I'm like, wow.
Why?
That's not gonna cause any problems.
GG Microsoft. GG.
GG indeed. Some statistics about the console itself. It's even smaller than the Xbox One S, which I think is pretty hilarious. So the smaller model of the Xbox One is not the smallest console anymore.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm very impressed that they could make the most powerful Xbox One and then also the smallest one in the same package.
I mean, I find it interesting how, like, you know, something so small has, like, that much horsepower in it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. True 4K. And Ultra HD Blu-ray player as well.
Fun fact, there was also a counter for how many times they said 4K during their conference.
Oh, boy.
And it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah, especially Microsoft, because... they really want 4K to be a thing, man. It's the passion.
It's like their one true dream in life is just for everyone to go 4K.
Yeah. It's probably the reason why they made like gaming consoles in the first place. They wanted that 4K, man. Yeah, so it's backwards compatible with Xbox One games, of course. Loading times will be faster, of course. And if you don't own a 4K TV, it will still be able to play new games, but it will just output it in 1080p, which is good.
Nothing wrong with
Definitely.
1080p.
Nothing wrong with that. The price of it is $500, which I don't know how much that is because it's going to be more expensive over here anyway.
That's the same for New Zealand, because typically with releases in countries like America, it'll be, say, if it's a new game, it will be about $60, whereas, for example, over here in New Zealand, a new game release is about $100, $120.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a standard edition. That's how much.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's a lot.
Oh yeah.
Before we jump into the games that they showed, one other thing that Microsoft presented was that the Xbox One consoles will now be backwards compatible all the way back to the first Xbox.
Which is pretty fucking interesting.
That was probably one of the biggest surprises. I did not expect that. Like,
Me neither.
okay, you went the extra mile.
I honestly, I like how they make things backwards compatible, you know? Because sometimes, like, you know, old consoles tend to die. I mean, I had an Xbox 360 that kicked the bucket a couple of years back. And I'm still it's still just sitting in front of me. It's lifeless corpse just staring at me every day. But I have a ton of games for it, just tons. And, you know, being able to know that I can, say if I were to pick up a new console, I could easily, you know, chuck one of the old games in and it will work, which I think is really awesome.
I mean, they're doing more about backwards compatibility than most of the others are these days, I feel.
Yeah, that's true, because Sony doesn't really do it. I don't think they have, like, the legal permission to. as far as I know. I don't think they
Didn't they have a thing where you could like stream it?
I'm honestly not too sure on that, but the main like juggernaut for backwards compatibility is definitely the Xbox consoles for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's start with the games. Not going to talk that much about Forza 7 because I never played a Forza game, and racing games aren't really my thing. Unless they're Mario Kart, then I'm all about that thing. However, I do have to mention that they brought a car up on stage again, and they called it the 911, which I thought was
what?
Yeah, it was. I can't remember the brand who made the car, but it was the model 911, and they.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently we're all past 9/11, so we can just name stuff after that and don't think about the terrorist attack.
We're in the age of memes now.
Yeah. Anyway, however, the game will be running, Forza 7 will be running in 4K 60 FPS native, which sounds good, and I hope that also proves that the console itself will be running in 60 FPS 4K on more games than just that, because that is what we really want.
I will say about Forza is that while I haven't played it myself, I have watched people play it on YouTube, and the Forza games look really cool, I will admit. I mean, I don't know, I've always been a car racing video game fan, like, on the sly. So, with the gameplay for Forza, it actually looks quite fun, so hopefully the newer one will be just as good as the last one, because graphically, it was good, along with the handling with the driving in the game. So, if I were to pick up the newer release, I would definitely hope that that's a factor as well. That, you know, it's just it handles and runs as smoothly as the previous.
Yeah, absolutely. After that, they showed Metro Exodus, the third game in the Metro series. Apparently, from what I've been hearing about Metro games, they're very, very good. So I'm glad to see that they're still continuing with that. I haven't played them myself.
Me neither.
After that, and here's something we can talk about more in depth anyway, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Ooh.
This time in Egypt.
I did watch that. And now, before the series went to shit with Syndicate, I was a massive Assassin's Creed fan.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the best games for me of the Assassin's Creed franchise were definitely Ezio's trilogy, hands down.
Assassin's Creed 2 is still a great game.
I actually just replayed it recently. I bought the Ezio trilogy for the PS4. Still good. Graphics are terrifying, but it's still good. Like, just the faces on all the characters, it's like, holy shit, this looks so bad. But it's an amazing game. And Assassin's Creed Origins, it looks promising. I'll give it that. It definitely looks promising. I mean, you get to be an assassin in Egypt. And you get to, like, climb a pyramid.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's fucking badass.
I hope you get to surf down the side of it afterwards.
Ooh, that would be so cool. I mean, they did show it in the trailer, but, you know, sometimes with video games, it's like an alpha thing, so what you see in trailers might not necessarily be in the game.
Yeah, and it might not be that big part of the game anyway. It could be a cutscene, I guess.
That's true. That's also true.
Some interesting things that they showed gameplay-wise is that it looks like they have a loot system now. He was like picking up items after killing a guard, and he picked up a bow in particular that said it was legendary. So it's like, okay, it's not just here's your weapons, and that's what you have. You actually can find better stuff out there.
Which is strange, because with the Assassin's Creed games, when you kill a guard or enemy, when you loot them, you usually just get money.
Exactly.
So this is definitely a new thing.
it's moving more towards RPG in a way, I guess.
Yeah, I think I read an article where someone interviewed one of the people behind Assassin's Creed Origins, and they did say that they were like going for like a sort of RPG sort of take on Origins, which it's strange because when you think Assassin's Creed, you don't really consider it an RPG per se because it's like action. No. But I mean, if they do it right and not make it like they sort of balance out RPG and action game, then sure, it can work.
Exactly, and it's probably the result of them having a skip year. Like they took another year for developing this, so they didn't rush out an Assassin's Creed like every year, which is like crazy.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed is kind of like their Call of Duty, and I just remembered I'll retract my earlier statement. It wasn't Syndicate where they went to shit. It was Unity.
For me, it was already Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah, the ending for that was shite. I mean, I liked Connor.
The beginning for that was shite too, man.
Anything with Desmond was shit, let's be honest. No one cared about Desmond.
Yeah. But I remember playing like briefly through the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3 with a friend. We were just like, oh my god, all this plot, all these cutscenes, when do we get to do stuff? Why are we this guy? Who's that?
Yeah,
we were just like, oh, come on.
That is true. That's true. I was like that as well when I played the game.
Anyway, you have a bird in Origins.
So
you can send away and have like bird view and stuff, and that's like, yay, pets.
One thing I will say about Origins is that with the eagle that you get, it can actually like sort of like pinpoint the enemy's location, kind of like in the Far Cry games. So if you've played Far Cry 3 or any of the more recent games, you could like pull out a binoculars and then look at enemies, and they'll like have little targets so you can see where they are, their locations on the map. And the gameplay for the eagle in Assassin's Creed Origins is very much like that. It's the eagle flies over, pinpoints the enemy's location so you can find them and take them out.
Nice. So that's definitely a new mechanic they're bringing in. Looks very cool.
They're bringing in a lot of new gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, and about time too, you could add.
Yeah. The series is in need of a fresh coat of paint.
It is, absolutely. Alright, moving on. The next thing they showed was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is not the first time they're going to show this game. Because a huge success on Steam right now as an early access game. Like 3 million people are playing it or something, which is crazy.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like live streams and gameplay videos on YouTube, and everyone is absolutely thrashing it right now.
Yeah. So of course they were on Microsoft's conference because it's exclusive Xbox One release. But it's like it's a port of the PC. It's not just Xbox One exclusive. I know you like your buzzwords, but no.
There is another game that I do want to mention very briefly.
Yes.
And they did show a reveal trailer for Life is Strange Before the Storm.
They did.
And I recently finished Life is Strange, so...
Oh, that's perfect timing then.
So yeah, I saw it and I was like, holy shit, that actually looks pretty good. It's a different studio that's because there's 2 Life is Strange games coming out. There's going to be Life is Strange 2, which we don't know anything about, and then there is this prequel Before the Storm, which has been done by Deck 9, so it's not the main developers of the original Life is Strange, but they have the original developers' blessing to make this prequel.
Okay, then you know more than I do. I just saw the trailer and it was like, isn't that Chloe?
Yeah,
Life is
you
Strange
play
2,
as
so
a younger Chloe before, she goes all blue-haired and tatted up.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically exploring what her life was like before Max turned up and Rachel Amber when she was alive and, all of that stuff.
Okay, let's talk about this because for me, actually, that's kind of a disappointment because I guess that means that there won't be any superpowers and the whole rewind stuff won't be there.
There are no superpowers because they didn't. I watched another sort of like behind the scenes thing that the developers released of Before the Storm, and they said that it wouldn't feel right to have superpowers in the game because if you think something like time travel, that's associated with Max's character.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
and Chloe is known for being a complete smartass, very irrational with her choices in the game.
Yeah.
So that's going to be sort of a gameplay factor per se, just her sort of...
Yeah,
You get the power of being a little shit. So
I guess that's a mechanic in and of itself.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's going to be kind of Chloe's thing. So you have to deal with sort of the brunt and the consequences of her acting out irrationally and her choices. Whereas, with Max, she had rewinding time. So that's going to be a different gameplay
And I really love
element.
that mechanic.
It's such a good mechanic. I like it.
I'm probably going to get Before the Storm anyway, but I'm still a bit, I really like that rewind mechanic. That was really why I love Life is Strange so much.
It's the same for me. It comes out next month.
Oh, wow, already?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, holy shit. There's so much stuff that's like been announced and it's coming out so quick. Like, my wallet.
Oh, yeah, rip.
Oh, yeah. RIP all of our wallets. But, so yeah. I think that while it's not... Like, I mean, everyone liked the time travel and time rewind mechanic of the original Life is Strange, but I'm willing to give this prequel a chance because it looks promising, and I think it would be interesting because even though we know how things are going to pan out with Rachel Amber, it's still an interesting thing to like sort of go back and see what it was like for Chloe, before
and
the
who
events.
Rachel was.
Yeah, exactly. You get to find out a little more about Rachel Amber's character as well as some of the characters that we got to see on the sidelines in the original game. So those are my thoughts.
Yes. Exactly. Looks very interesting indeed. Then they showed, Microsoft, they had a lot of trailers.
So many.
For big and small games. We're not going to go in depth with all of them. But they did announce like State of Decay 2, which is good, I guess. They showed new Dragon Ball fighting game. They had Black Desert Online, a port on the Xbox One. The Last Night, that looked very interesting though. It was this noir pixel 3D, 2D thing. Awesome aesthetic. And they talk more about that during the PC gaming show. But that teaser trail alone with the aesthetic... I'm a sucker for awesome aesthetics in games. That looks super cool.
I agree.
I'm definitely interested in that.
I only got to see like teensy little snippets of it. Because I get easily distracted during conferences, so I was like up and down a couple of times. But
yeah, same.
Aesthetically, it looked so good, so good.
Yeah, wow! I can't wait to see more of that. I also need to mention The Artful Escape, which was this man walking down the street, some music playing, and then suddenly he whips out a guitar, starts playing it, and then it's one giant LSD trip.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm intrigued.
throughout E3, LSD was like a low-key, like, recurring factor. Especially, I mean, we'll talk about it eventually because I do want to mention it, but LSD did make a return in Bethesda's conference too.
Absolutely it is. So, yeah, The Artful Escape, and then it said at the very end of it, coming when it's damn ready.
But this way to announce a release date. Just,
yeah,
you'll
absolutely.
get it when it's fucking ready, mate. Just calm your tits.
Not only is that a good way to work on your games, it's also very awesomely put. So that alone is like, The Artful Escape, I'm going to remember that one.
True.
I need to talk about Sea of Thieves, because already last year I'm like, oh yes, Raz making a pirate game, like 2 dreams come true. So they showed a bit more gameplay. Not that surprising. I mean, it's just like a longer edition of the first reveal trailer, I guess. So, and they just... It was a very long trailer too, but they had this cool voiceover going through it. It just feels so chill, really.
Yeah.
Go on your own adventures. This almost sandboxy pirate game. I can't wait to play it. Very excited.
I reckon it looks pretty cool as well. I mean, going back to Assassin's Creed again. With their game Black Flag, I really like traveling around in the ship, just doing pirate stuff. That was a highlight. So I think I like that kind of gameplay mechanic. So if they bring something like that to Sea of Thieves, then fuck yeah, I'm in.
Absolutely. Coming to Xbox One and PC. So no PS4 for you, sadly.
Aww. Yeah, I still have Black Flag. That's okay. I still have shirtless Edward Kenway to make me happy.
Oh, yeah. Then they showed Tacoma again. Looks like it had changed a lot since the teaser trailer I saw years ago, but that's another story. Then they showed Super Lucky's Tale, and I'm just like, this looks like Yooka-Laylee so much.
Yeah. I think
3D platformer collectathon.
Yeah. I think that they're bringing back a lot of the old school games from back in the day in some way, shape, or form.
They are.
I mean, I know the new trilogy for Crash Bandicoot just came out recently.
That's true, yeah. Cuphead finally got a release date. I hope that they stick to it this time, because I've been so hyped ever since I saw the teaser trailer. God, I love the art style.
You've been waiting 84 years, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've lived all my life just waiting for this game. So, and what annoyed me a bit was that they said it's Xbox One exclusive, which is simply not true. It's also coming out on PC.
Yeah, they did that with Rise of the Tomb Raiders release. They're like, oh, this is going to be an Xbox One exclusive. Only for Xbox when it was a timed exclusive, mate.
Exactly,
Come on.
Don't lie to us, please.
Why are you always lying,
Then they showed Crackdown 3, Ashen, which had a nice art style. Ori gets a sequel called Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which also looks gorgeous, just as the first one. Yeah.
And
okay.
Then we had old Anthem again, didn't we?
Yes, we did. They wrapped everything up with talking about Anthem. And this is where we will spend most of the podcast, folks.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, we are going to talk a lot about this. Okay, so it looks a lot like Destiny. It's
definitely
new sci-fi IP with mech suits. I can't even remember what they were called, but it's the same name as a gun in Mass Effect 3.
Plus, there's the online gameplay elements. Bringing in friends. I mean, that whole bit with the scripted dialogue for, like, online playing, like, multiplayer, that was cringe. That was cringe.
It's always cringe, like, no one talks like that.
Yeah, it's like, come on. I mean, obviously, they can't have someone coming in and be like, oh, I got this piece of shit fucking loot. Come on, I wanted a legendary. I mean, obviously, they're not going to do that, but come on.
But still, it's like your friend joins in and you're like, oh, I like your new armor. Like, oh yeah, you can get all loads of different armor in this game. Like, it kind of feels like that. They didn't do it
How much
to that
XP
extreme.
did you get when you found that armor piece?
Yeah, they did mention something like that. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, it was cringe. It was a cringe fest.
Yeah, I mean, okay, knowing you probably have been reading more about this than I have, but it looks like it's heavy emphasis on multiplayer. Will it even have a single player?
First off, you are right. I have read quite a lot about this. I even made my own video on Anthem in general regarding both Anthem and Andromeda. But you can finish the game in single player without having to play with anyone. So you can play the campaign on your own as a loner. You can do it. But the main focus is definitely the multiplayer aspect.
Yeah. So there's I didn't see any RPG besides the loot thing.
Yeah, there isn't. They're kind of with Anthem. They are going in a sense in a bit of a more action, shooty looty sort of direction. Because Mass Effect for them is like their sort of juggernaut RPG.
Or it used to be anyway.
Yeah. That's a topic for another time. So like Mass Effect, KOTOR, Dragon Age, those are like, the juggernaut sort of RPGs, whereas with Anthem, they're sort of going down a more Destiny route with it. Like they're focusing, there is lore, and they have said this, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something akin to, there is lore, but players aren't going to care about the lore, so we're not going to mention any of it.
Oh my god, are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding at all.
Okay. I'm going to sound like a giant kid now, but I want my RPG. I want my big open worlds. I want my massive lore. I want all the stories and all the culture and politics in those worlds.
Yeah.
I want to really dive into the unique worlds that BioWare has been able to make in every single game up to this point. And now we are getting another Destiny thing.
That is true.
I mean, they put all of their efforts in a multiplayer game instead of giving us the real RPGs.
That is true. One thing that I will say in regards to that topic, I had the exact same reaction. I mean, for fuck's sake, BioWare, what are you doing? But I found that out through watching this guy on YouTube who goes really, really in depth into the whole this whole topic, really, of them not really giving a fuck about lore in this game. But honestly, it's just with BioWare, their fan base is for their RPGs, right? Mass Effect,
Absolutely.
Big fan base. KOTOR, big fan base. Dragon Age, big fan base. Those fan bases love having lore. They love it. I mean, that's what makes their games even more fascinating to them, because they want to know more about the characters, the politics, the area that they're exploring. And to not give players that, it's kind of messed up, and it's almost alienating your fan base.
Exactly. I mean, I'm all open for developers trying new stuff. By all means, do it. It creates innovation and new ideas and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes from BioWare, who's a game developer that has pretty much, from all I know, only made RPGs with intense lore, now they're making a game that has none of it. And let's face it, who bought Mass Effect 3 just for the multiplayer?
That's
I mean,
true.
come on.
I mean, people bought Mass Effect 3 because, they want to see what the rest of Commander Shepard's story was going to be and what was going to happen to the characters and the world, or the galaxy. Just they want to know that. They don't care about the multiplayer. And I feel like if they did a better job with Andromeda, like they didn't, put all their resources into this new IP rather than sort of, letting Andromeda sort of kick the bucket. If Andromeda turned out good, like the RPG that we deserved, then Anthem would be like, it would, the reception for it would be okay, would be like, okay, cool, Andromeda turned out okay, feel free to experiment. But since they kind of let Andromeda fall, by putting a lot of their sort of marketing and development time into that rather than the newest addition to their, very, very popular video game series, then that's kind of letting the ball slip in a way, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it hasn't even been a year since Andromeda got released.
Yeah.
And they're presenting, this is our new game, and it looks like infinitely more well-polished.
That's so true. I mean...
So that is just a giant screw you to Mass Effect.
and fans of the Mass Effect franchise too. I mean, I know. I mean, me personally, I am a Dragon Age fan. I mean, that was sort of my starting series with BioWare's games. But I know that a lot of Mass Effect fans, they love the series, and they were hoping that this sort of like, because it's a spin-off series, it's not following Commander Shepard. It's like a new story entirely. Yeah. And, it's a slap in the face.
It was meant to be a new trilogy too, I hear.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, I'm playing Mass Effect 3 at the moment with my sister. and whenever we hang out and she's like, hey, let's play Mass Effect 3. At this point, I'm just like, I can't be bothered anymore. It makes me think of Anthem. Like, everything I loved about Mass Effect is gone now. They're not returning to it. They are wasting their powers on fucking multiplayer games.
Yeah. So, I'd say to possibly, unless you have any extra thoughts that you want to add, just to round up my personal thoughts on Anthem, it's that...
Yep, go for it.
Just, what are you doing, BioWare? What are you doing?
Plain and simple. What the fuck are you doing?
Like, I mean, I will admit there are some gameplay elements that do look cool. I mean, I like, the mech suit or whatever the hell they're calling it. They're calling it something. I can't remember what.
The Javelin, I think.
The Javelin, that's it. The Javelin, I mean, you kind of look like you're Iron Man and you get to fly around and shit. That's cool. I will admit that did look kind of fun, but the majority is pretty much a letdown.
See, even the mech suits doesn't interest me. I don't like mechs. I mean, playing through Mass Effect 3 right now, whenever there's an empty mech, why don't you jump inside it? I'm like, fuck no. I don't want to do that. And now they're making a game only with mechs. I'm like, haha. No.
It's like, no, fuck off.
I mean, the only reason I would play Anthem as it is right now, I mean, we don't know that much yet, to be honest. But I would play it to just like fly around and explore the pretty world that they've made. Because, I mean, the graphics are amazing.
I mean, there's no denying that the game does look pretty. I mean, it is
Absolutely.
very pretty. But it's just... it's
Mass Effect could also have been pretty, you know?
Yeah. I mean, God. Ugh.
Okay.
Why BioWare?
Before we both commit suicide for all this sadness. Let's move on to Bethesda.
Oh boy.
Okay. My headline for the Bethesda show was, what a giant circle jerk over themselves. It felt like watching a company party.
Yeah, for me, in my little teeny weeny piece of paper that I wrote my notes on, I have the milkening, which is in reference to their treatment of Skyrim.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Skyrim. I mean, if any of you guys know me, I love Skyrim with all my heart and soul.
If anyone has watched the intro to this podcast, you'll notice there's Skyrim when Icewire's logo is presented.
Yeah, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. And I was very happy that they announced the special edition for it. I think it was last year now. Yeah, that made me happy because my Xbox 360 disc of Skyrim does not work anymore. So I was like, oh cool, I can play it on PS4. But just
Yay.
Let Skyrim rest. Let it rest. It needs sleep.
I mean, it's how lucky for them that they can release it on the Switch, because otherwise they would not be able to show Skyrim again for the 900th time.
I mean, it wasn't just for this. I mean, it's cool that Skyrim's coming to the Switch in a sense, but like, I mean, just there's so much crap. There's so much crap that's going to be coming out because there's Skyrim VR. There's going to be a Skyrim-related expansion pack for Elder Scrolls Legends. I mean, just let it rest.
I mean,
let it age like a fine wine.
I actually want to ask you more about that. Skyrim VR. Are you interested in that?
From the gameplay I've seen, no, I'm not.
No.
Although I will admit that, well, one, I'm too poor to get a fucking VR headset. But if magically I had the money, I think a dragon fight would be kind of cool in VR. Cause it's like, holy shit, that's a big dragon. That's a big boy. him, big boy.
Mm.
But honestly, the gameplay, I honestly think it was kind of boring. Because I saw some gameplay snippets of archery, because everyone always ends up being a stealth archer.
That looks so weird.
It doesn't look right. Like, what are the arrows doing? What are they doing? Where are they pointing? It's like there was
a giant dragon, and the bow and arrow is just pointing way to the left of it. They're like, how? That did not look right at all.
No, I mean, Fallout VR looked great. I will admit, because one thing I did think about while watching the Fallout VR gameplay was I'd get to pet dog meat in virtual reality. Because, God, I love that dog so much. It's so cute. But, honestly, I think Skyrim VR looks kind of shit. If I'm going to be completely honest, it does not intrigue me at all.
I would really like to try it, just to walk around in it. I'm sure that would be quite the experience, but even then, the graphics look so old.
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, we just want an Elder Scrolls 6, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like way off, but you know, just give it to us, man. Come on, please, Todd, please.
That's not the only Skyrim thing they showed. They also gave an expansion to their free-to-play card game, which I forgot existed.
Yeah, I got into the beta for that, and I'll admit it's pretty much like it's very similar to Hearthstone, if you've ever played Hearthstone. But I will admit I did have fun with Elder Scrolls Legends at first, but I liked Hearthstone better. But
everyone did.
Everyone likes Hearthstone better than Elder Scrolls Legends. But I will admit that I did like it, so I just let Skyrim rest. Come on, stop milking it. I mean, I'll admit maybe, just maybe, the expansion, like the Skyrim-related expansion. I think it's called Heroes of Skyrim. Yeah, Heroes of Skyrim.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be cool.
That's not anyway close to Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft, is it? Just putting that one out.
But yeah, maybe the expansion will turn out good if you're into that game. But honestly, it was very boring. It was very mediocre.
Yeah. Then there's Dishonored 2, Death of the Outsider.
Now that looks cool.
Is that an expansion, or is it a standalone, or what is it?
It's both. I think it's a standalone.
Okay.
But the main character that you play as in that game, who is, I think her name is Megan Foster, aka Billy Lurk. She was a character in Dishonored 2, as well as a character in DLC for the original Dishonored.
Okay, right.
So, I found that interesting because, I mean, they're going to be killing off the Outsider somehow, and that's interesting. Because the Outsider is old and powerful.
I still haven't beat the first Dishonored. I've only played a little bit of it. But, I mean, you meet him in the beginning of the first game. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're going to kill him off. That's interesting.
I mean, I'm probably going to play it because I've played on my channel both the first Dishonored and the second Dishonored, so I'm probably going to play this as well. But I'm really interested in seeing how this turns out because I really like the Outsider. I don't want him to die.
Cool.
He's awesome. Like, come on. He gives me powers. He lets me turn into rats and like summon rats and shit. Don't kill him.
Can we also briefly talk about how it's kind of stupid of them to name it Death of the Outsider, because then you know what happens?
Yeah, I mean, come on, mate.
Don't spoil it in the title.
Well, maybe it's like a sort of bait and switch thing where they're like, oh, the Outsider's gonna die, but plot twist, he doesn't.
Da-da-da-dum.
But yeah, I hope they don't actually kill off the Outsider. I'll be so sad. I'll be so fucking sad. But one thing I will say about the trailer itself is that the Drunken Whaler song playing in the background just gets you so hyped, man. It's like, oh, yes.
Yay.
I like that song. It's so good.
3 other games that they showed. Quake Champions, where they also showed World Championship in Quake Champions. So I guess if you win that, you are the champion of Quake Champions. As so-called Quake Champions champion.
Yeah. But one other thing I did find pretty cool about Bethesda's conference, which is pretty much my main highlight from the conference itself, were the last 2 like Juggernaut announcements. So the Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein: The New Colossus.
I haven't played either of them, and they don't interest me that much in particular, but I'm glad you're excited.
I don't really care much about the Evil Within because I've never played it, and I thought the plot was confusing because I'm very slow when it comes to plot. You sort of gotta explain it to me like I'm 5. But the
same.
Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, I found that to be quite cool, and I've never played a Wolfenstein game before, so. And I've never had interest. However, this particular game, I don't know whether it was the bit at the end with the pregnant woman stabbing a Nazi over and over again while a guy trips on acid.
It looks so bonkers, man.
It looks so good. I mean, I don't know. I think I'll definitely pick it up eventually when I'm not poor.
Nice. Yeah.
Because it looks good. I mean, I find one thing I did find that was interesting about the trailer is that there was humor. Like the humor was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that one chick with the afro who was like, "You let him go, or I'm gonna pop this grenade so far up your ass."
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And then another bit where the guy's like mechanical arm just starts slapping him in the face. I mean, it's a serious universe, but there's also humor in it. Like, you know, but it's not like cringy humor. It's well timed in a way. So I think that's pretty cool. and it made
absolutely.
me take interest in it.
They also announced another thing. Bethesda Creation Club.
Oh no.
This could be a whole conversation in a podcast itself. But basically, it's like, as far as I understood, fans and trusted creators can make mods that people can pay for. And I'm just like, remember when Steam tried to do that and it got a huge backlash?
With that...
Be careful now, Bethesda.
Yes, a lot of people are actually very fucked off about that. Because they didn't explain it very well. They didn't come out and be like, okay, so I'm going to explain how this works. They just announced it.
Yeah.
And so basically what it is that modders, so people that mod both Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition, they can submit their mods to Bethesda. Bethesda overviews it, say they accept it. They will polish the mod, so it will get so the mod itself that some random modder will create will get polished officially by Bethesda. Then Bethesda releases it, but you have to pay money to use it because it's been polished by Bethesda.
Okay. First of all, why? Second of all, I mean, there's a pretty damn good website on the internet called Nexus Mods, where you can download a lot of mods for all Bethesda games for free. The very low price of free. Why the fuck would you pay for something then?
Exactly. I mean, so many people use Nexus. So many people.
I did it a couple of days ago.
So it's like, who's gonna bother, you know? Who's gonna bother? And funny thing is that there was like a meme ages ago that one day Bethesda's gonna announce mud crab armor. And in the fucking preview, they showed a mud crab with armor that you can pay for.
Oh god.
So the meme was like a prediction. It knew what was coming.
Oh god, no.
So that's a thing that exists and happened.
Okay, we will see how it turns out, but
Lord help us.
So far, not too keen on it.
Me neither. I mean, just let Nexus do their thing. I mean, Bethesda's just trying to find a way to make money off of, whatever.
Old shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess Fallout 4 isn't that old. It's not as old as Skyrim, but, just sometimes you gotta let sleeping dogs lie,
Before we move on to the next presentation, I'm just going to wrap up the Bethesda conference by saying that the thing I had most problem with in this presentation was that they continuously switched back and forth between showing us old games with new content and games that will be released soon, which we already knew were about to be released. So it was hard for me to really determine what in this presentation was actually new.
Yeah, I felt the same way, honestly. I mean, the Nintendo Switch, we knew it was coming. They announced it like last year.
Exactly.
So it's like, why are you rehashing it?
I mean, Quake Champions is already in beta.
So yeah, I found that stupid as well, I'll admit.
So yes, that was Bethesda. The next is PC Gaming Show, aka YouTube and Twitch personalities sell us stuff for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
They did it too. They even had Day 9 as the main presenter.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to... I mean, do you have anything very interesting to talk about here? Because most of the games, I have to admit, did not really interest or surprise me.
Honestly, I did not watch the PC gaming stuff at all.
No. I put on the video and I just skipped a lot. because it was such a boring conference. For almost every game they presented, they brought someone up to talk more about it.
Yeah.
So it was very, very long too, way longer, and you just lost interest very quickly, I felt.
I will admit that them bringing up people to actually discuss what, things that they showed, that was good if you compared it to the previous conference of Bethesda, because they showed stuff and didn't, explain any of it. Like, for example, the Content Creation Club.
Yeah.
So that's a plus for the PC gaming conference, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very mundane, boring one. I mean, for some people it might have been interesting, but for me, personally, watching it, I didn't find anything of interest.
I found two things of interest. One was Ooblets, which was a game that looked Japanese as fuck. It had this whole Katamari Damacy vibe mixed with Pokemon and Harvest Moon. So you can kind of decorate your house, you can plant plants, which then turns into ooblets. But there's also a combat system in the style of Pokemon. And I was just surprised that it was revealed at the PC gaming, because that just sounds like the perfect console game. But, I mean, that was a thing. I did not expect that to be on PC. A lot of the games revealed were a lot of like FPS and strategy, obviously. Mountain Blade 2 is coming, Total Warhammer 2, la-di-da. Destiny 2 is coming for the PC, woohoo. We know we love Destiny on this podcast. Sea of Thieves made a presence again with nothing to add. Literally nothing to add, I felt. Like, I learned nothing new, but it was nice to see you still care.
Yeah.
Then they showed us more from the last night, which was good. However, it was a bit awkward, because the developer started to say something about some Twitter drama or something.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's like, all the statements I put on Twitter, I still stand by them. And I was like, what? This is very awkward. So, was that something I was supposed to know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, all the stuff they showed was pre-alpha footage, and already that looked amazing. So I'm still very intrigued. Especially because he said that the game will remember what you do in pure, like, Telltale fashion.
Oh, okay.
From what I gathered, it's going to take place on a number of different nights. And, for instance, the game has a mechanic that you can start a conversation with someone, and then you can just walk away from them while they still talk.
Oh.
And then if you meet them the next day, they will be pissed at you because you walked away from them.
Oh, that's actually really
That
neat.
kind of stuff. And I love those game mechanics.
Yeah, I like those as well.
So that makes me more interested in the last night. So that was good. They showed Forza Motorsport 7 again. They showed Killing Floor 2, which is already out. I think they just showed an expansion.
That is true. It is out. I actually downloaded it.
Clay, the guys who made Don't Starve. And what's it called? Mark of the Ninja, those kind of games. They are returning with what looks like a turn-based RPG.
Huh. Okay.
They showed a very beautiful trailer, and not much other than that. But it looked interesting, and Clay always make very good games, I feel. So
I haven't actually played anything by them, so I'm not too sure, but okay.
I love the art style, though, in all their games.
I like Don't Starve's art style quite a lot.
Yeah. Almost Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah. It's got a very, like, almost like morbid kind of feel to it.
They showed some VR stuff. Not very interested in that. What I was very interested in, however, was Wargroove.
Wargroove.
A very weird name, but it looked very, very cool, actually. It's basically Fire Emblem meets Advance Wars.
Oh, okay.
So it's a fantasy setting. The combat looks more like Advance Wars and Fire Emblem, even though it's almost the same, but just some in the visuals reminded me more of Advance Wars.
Okay.
It comes with a campaign and a map editor, so you can create your own campaign that you can then share with others.
That's
in
cool.
a super simple way. They showed how you could create your own maps and campaigns and stuff. It looks super simple.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the trailer, I think you should, because it looked very, very cool. I was hooked. Other than that, I showed more of Shadow of War. And then their big reveal was Age of Empires remake. And I'm like, didn't we just have one of those? But I guess that was for the sequel.
Yeah.
So anyway, that wraps up PC gaming. Not too interested. Not too interesting for me anyways.
Same here, honestly. I mean, a lot of them were a little bit of a hit and miss for me.
Okay, here comes Ubisoft.
I feel like Ubisoft did a good job.
They did, actually. I was surprised.
If there's like a title to say, like, who won E3, I'd say Ubisoft, because they did a pretty good job.
Exactly. It was a very good conference. They started off very, very heavy, in a way you could say, by revealing Mario and Rabbids, the game we never asked for, but now we have it.
It's like the game that we didn't deserve, but we needed, or whatever.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know how the exact quote goes. One thing that did interest me was just the fact that they combined Mario and Rabbids. Two things that you would never think would ever meet. And
no.
Good lord.
And they even invited Miyamoto.
Oh yeah,
on stage.
that's right.
That was cool, but the thing that really stood out for that game's presentation in particular was the creative director who was sitting in the audience, and then they pointed out this wouldn't have been possible without that guy, and he was just sitting there with tears in the eyes, so proud.
Aww.
I'm just like, aww, that's adorable.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you get a chance to create a game like that with Mario, and you have Miyamoto's approval and everything, that's like every developer's dream come true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's pretty much like game developer goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that another thing that they did show at Ubisoft's conference was more of Far Cry 5.
Yes, we can jump straight to that. Because I know you're more interested in Far Cry than I am. I haven't played any of the games except the first one, which is like something completely different than what it is now. The one thing I will say, though, is that it said in the corner before they showed the gameplay that it was actual gameplay. And I'm like, that's bullshit. There's no crosshair. There's no user interface.
One thing I did like about the gameplay that they showed is that, I'm going to be honest, it was the dog. It was the dog. Boomer.
Oh, gee, big surprise.
I like dogs, okay? Dogs in video games, you cannot go wrong with them.
But, I mean, it's not really what I expected from Far Cry 5. I mean, now it seems to... I mean, I was hoping it would be more like story-driven and stealth-based. You have to infiltrate this very weird cult and weird stuff's gonna happen. Almost like Outlast, but less horror.
Yeah, I feel you.
But instead, the trailer they showed at the end was all like, oh yeah, explosions, guns, yeah, you have your team, they can do stuff, yeah, bam, bam, kill all the weird people.
Yeah, I feel you. I was a little bummed that they didn't show a little bit more like story elements to it, because I was actually, that's what intrigued me in the first place, was like the whole story for Far Cry 5.
Yeah, it's a very cool setting.
But I did find the gameplay aspects where, like I mentioned earlier with Assassin's Creed Origins using the eagle to tag enemies, Boomer does the same thing in a sense, because you can just
yeah.
that dog is brutal. That's a brutal dog. I want him to be my friend. But yeah, I found Far Cry 5's little snippet of gameplay to be pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't what I initially hoped for, as I wanted to see more story, but
yeah,
I did find it interesting to see, because I was curious about how the gameplay would turn out if you compare it to previous games.
Exactly. They showed more Assassin's Creed 2. They showed South Park, Fractured But Whole. And a phone game based on South Park. That's all right.
Phone game. Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then I don't even know what that is. The thing with Elijah Wood.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
I don't know.
Apparently he was a creative director on the game.
What? Oh my.
When he first appeared talking to another dude, it said in the corner, Elijah Wood, creative director. I was wow.
Okay.
Huh.
I mean, I know Elijah was actually a pretty big gamer, but I didn't know that.
It's called Transference. It looked like a dystopian thing where you could upload minds. It's not like we haven't seen that before in sci-fi.
Yeah.
But I think this was a VR game. Not entirely sure. I don't know. That really weirded me out. Like, what the fuck is this? And I got no answers.
One other game that they did sort of reveal, I think, sort of near the end of Ubisoft's conference was, I think it was Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yes! Oh my god.
Cool.
Oh my god.
That looks cool.
Okay.
They got me excited.
Right off the bat, I'm just going to reveal that this is the game I am the most excited about. Of everything on E3, that is the one I'm the most excited about. I have played a bit of the first one that I really liked. I liked the universe a lot. When they showed off this trailer, I did not expect it to be Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Me neither.
Actually. I saw the talking pig and all, and I was like, it kind of looks like the pig from Beyond Good and Evil 2, but it's not him, so it can't be that game.
I know me, like, I have never actually played it before. I've never played Beyond Good and Evil. I don't know, I was very, like, really, really reserved in my choices in games back in the day. Usually I'd only play things if I could play as a dog. I know. Very smart. To be fair, I was
Dog Island.
Oh god, yes. To be fair, I was very young. But I watched the reveal for it, and it looks so good. Like, the dialogue is really well done, especially for like the chimp character. I mean, just like how even just the design of the characters looks good.
Yeah,
and
I liked a lot about that.
Yeah, one thing that did stand out for me, it was like the end after they showed it, and you know, the two people behind the game that came out and they're like tearing up, and I was like, oh god, the feels. Yeah. Like, I started tearing up because I'm like really empathetic, so it's like
It was a beautiful moment, really.
Yeah, so it's like oh, good on them.
I mean, I owe a lot to that guy because he's also the guy that made Rayman, which is one of my absolute favorite gaming heroes.
Okay.
But watching that trailer, I mean, I even wrote down in my notes, at this point I'm tired of cinematic trailers. Because we got so many on E3, holy fuck.
Yeah.
But this one in particular gave me like the biggest Guardians of the Galaxy vibes.
Yeah, I actually thought about that while I was watching it. I was like, this kind of faintly reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, just a little smidge.
You know, talking animals like Rocket Raccoon, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And a band of 4 weird characters. You're like, why are they working together? Because they're so different. That kind of stuff.
I know there's going to be some type of, like, you get to create your own character, whether you're going to play as a person or, like, a humanoid creature.
Yeah.
So I think that's a cool gameplay thing.
But one of the reasons why I thought this wouldn't be Beyond Good and Evil 2 was that 9 years ago, they showed a teaser trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, which included, like, it only showed the original characters.
Okay.
From the first game in that trailer. So it's like, oh, well, this can't be it. But it looks like that throughout those 9 years that they have really changed direction completely.
Because a lot can happen in development, you know?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
One thing I do think when it comes to like gameplay development, or just game development really, is that the longer a game is in development for, the better it will be. Because
general rule of thumb, yes.
Because like, if a development company takes their time and care and doesn't rush it at all, they just take their time and just whittle away at whatever they're doing or whatever the game they're creating, it always ends up, we have to wait ages, but it always ends up being good. Cause
yeah, absolutely.
I know that for a fact because a lot of games that I ended up liking a lot very recently turned out they've been in development for years. Horizon Zero Dawn was in development for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that game turned out really well.
So yeah, I am so excited for Beyond Good and Evil 2. Not long after I watched the conference, I started up playing Beyond Good and Evil again. Because I'm like, okay, now I need to complete the first one.
The same thing happened to me with, I got the same feelings that you're describing when The Last of Us Part 2 was announced last year. I was like, oh my god, is this happening? Nah, it can't be happening. Oh shit, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's such an awesome feeling that it's like, it's actually gonna be a thing.
Exactly.
So yeah, I
so
feel
excited. They also showed another game I was very interested in called Skull and Bones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that's because I really like pirate games.
Same here. Like when they showed it, I was like, oh shit, there's gonna be a pirate game? Oh crap, sign me up. Oh wait, multiplayer. Crap.
Yeah. That's my 2 comments on that game too. I wrote down, ooh, a pirate game. And then later, a bit disappointed it's just PvP.
Yeah. I just give me my single player pirate game,
Yeah.
So let me explore as a pirate. Let me create a pirate and explore. That's my type of game.
Exactly. In that case, I will recommend Sid Meier's Pirates.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one.
It's a great game, but we'll talk about that off the record. So yeah, on Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil 2, you could sign up for communities, and then you could be influencing the development of those games. I must admit, I signed up immediately to both of those games.
Fair enough.
Because those 2 games were such a big surprise for me, and both have the potential to really be great, especially Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, no other games made me that interested. I'm like, ooh, I need to be part of this.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think we should move on to the next thing, which is Sony.
Oh boy, I have notes.
So do I.
You go ahead first.
First of all, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
I actually think that looks cool.
It does. It does.
I like that it's
must admit.
standalone.
Yeah. More of a spin-off, I guess you could say. I must admit I haven't played the whole Uncharted series.
Me
I
neither.
begun on the first game.
Me neither.
And so far, I don't know if it's a series for me. I think there's too much combat for what it's worth. But, I mean, as always, Naughty Dog looks cinematic as hell. Amazing graphics. They seem to be the king of graphics lately.
That and definitely. If any of you have seen any gameplay of the reboot for Crash Bandicoot, it's in HD and it's pretty. A Crash Bandicoot game, and it's beautiful.
Okay. I need to look that up.
It's beautiful. And it's so weird seeing Crash Bandicoot look all pretty and gorgeous and like beautiful water effects.
Yeah, it's kind of the same whenever I play Mario Kart 8. It's so pretty. And just like, wow, Mario Kart can be this great.
That's true.
One thing, though, about Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, 2 female leads. That's an interesting choice.
Yes, I like that. Mostly because, well, I'm going to be that stereotypical female gamer and just say that it's nice to have some more female leads.
Of course, and I can only agree.
Female leads aside, I liked the gameplay, well, the little bits of like action that I saw, because I recently finished Rise of the Tomb Raider, and well, as you know, like Uncharted is literally just like a newer male version of Tomb Raider. But,
pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, Lara's the OG here. Nathan Drake ain't got shit on Lara. But it felt very similar to that, and I liked it. But it was like, the thing with Naughty Dog is that they take so much like time and care into pretty much everything that they do with their games, you know? So,
absolutely. And
you can tell that they took a lot of care in, you know, designing each and every little bit of like detail, whether it was gameplay or the environment even, and like little interactions with the environment and characters, and the characters themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm quite excited to play Lost Legacy when it comes out.
They have, after E3, they have put up a more specific gameplay trailer of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that looks like Uncharted, all right.
It's very fast-paced.
Yeah.
Combat in like recent titles for Naughty Dog, like Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us, when it comes to combat, unless you like stealth it, it's very fast paced.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot going on. The next game, Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds.
Eternal screaming forever.
I bet you did. Is this an expand-alone, or is it DLC?
It's a DLC.
Okay, right.
To be fair, I actually haven't gotten around to finishing Horizon Zero Dawn yet. Mostly because originally it was our commitment for like an LP series that I'm doing, but honestly, I'm probably just gonna, you know, go towards more like funny moments things because I want to finish the story. But
yeah,
I love the story. I love the story so much.
That's good.
Aloy is a really interesting character. I mean, you
Nice.
feel from her right from the beginning, and
Cool.
I am, from what I've seen of the DLC, it looks good. And it's really pretty. It's so pretty. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so damn stunning. Even like the weird animal like robots, you know? Even they're pretty. But
Yep.
yeah, that's one thing that I am excited for as well, because I liked Horizon Zero Dawn.
The next game, Days Gone.
Yes, I have that in my notes too. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm tired of zombie games.
Understandable. One thing.
So for me, it really didn't do much, honestly.
I actually found it quite interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I mean, there are a lot of zombie games out there that it's very much overhashed, but one thing that I will say that stood out for me was a moment where you put a bomb on a fence, it goes off, and then like a horde of zombies comes through, and they are the most aggressive things I've ever seen. Like, it's just
right.
a whole bunch of them just fucking running and crowding and just, going nuts on people. But another thing I did find interesting was it's not just humans that become zombies, it's animals too. Because at the end of the trailer, there was like a giant sort of zombified grizzly bear that comes out. It's got like bits of like mesh fence stuck in it. And it looked terrifying as hell, but I found it really interesting because, I mean, zombified animals sound absolutely terrifying.
Absolutely.
Especially as an animal lover.
Yeah,
Like, I like animals.
Definitely.
I know originally they were going to do infected animals in The Last of Us, but they decided to not do that.
Interesting.
To see what could have happened in The Last of Us happened in Days Gone, that's terrifying. Because there was like zombified wolves that come after you at one point, and like, it was very creepy, but at the same time it was like kind of awesome.
Like, it's an interesting setting, at least, that it's like in the countryside. Kind of rednecks against zombies in a way.
I honestly, the main character kind of gave me like a little bit of a Daryl Dixon vibe from The Walking Dead.
I got vibes from Right to Hell Retribution, which is probably not the best thing to think about.
No.
Oh dear.
Well, like, but yeah, the main character, I don't even know the character's name. It was very kind of generic, save for like the biker patches, but he did give me sort of like Daryl Dixon, The Walking Dead, or Sons of Anarchy type of vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the standout for me was definitely like sort of the AI for the zombies and zombified animals, because you don't really see that. You don't really. A fucking zombified bear. Come on. Who wants to deal with that? Who's equipped to deal with that? How are you going to be equipped to deal with that?
You're not.
Exactly. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Also, goddammit, Sony, with your artistic presentation of games at your E3 conference.
Yeah, what the fuck was up with the people hanging? And like,
I'm gonna love them for that. That was
that was fucking hilarious. What was it?
I don't know if it was funny or cool or whatever. I'm like, okay, that you're definitely making this interesting to watch, that's for sure.
For people that couldn't be fucked watching the Days Gone preview, while they were showing there was a moment in the trailer where the main character walks through a bunch of like hung corpses, and one of them happened to be a zombie. And then also on stage they had people hanging from the ceiling or whatever, just sort of like dangling around, acting all zombie-ish. Yeah. It was fascinating, to say the least.
and they would like twitch when in the gameplay the zombies there also twitched.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was the real 4D experience.
Hashtag 4K.
Oh dear. Okay. Monster Hunter is coming to PlayStation.
I actually think that looks really cool. I've never played it.
My only comment I wrote down was, this is going to make a lot of people happy.
I've never played a Monster Hunter game, but that looks really cool. That looks so awesome. I mean, there was like a weird sort of T-Rex looking thing, and it had like this weird sort of like, I don't even know what it was, but it was like a weird sort of like flare thing on its head, and like the fact that you could like jump on it and like try and kill it. It felt a lot like Dragon's Dogma to me. But yeah, that looks so fucking cool.
Thing about Monster Hunter is that for years it has been released on Nintendo handhelds, and people are like, please bring it to like the big screens, where it will look a lot better
and prettier.
Yeah. Speaking of things that look pretty, Shadow of the Colossus is getting a remake.
I saw that as well.
I just wrote down, might get a PS4 just to play that, because I love me some Shadow of the Colossus.
One thing that also got announced during, I think it was Sony's conference, was that Undertale is coming to the PS4.
I have mixed thoughts about that.
I mean, I guess an argument you could have is that for people that don't have a gaming PC, it's like, yay, sweet, But at the same time, Undertale, it just the thought of playing it on a console. I mean, sure, I would give it a crack, but like, it doesn't feel right,
No, and I am not going to spoil anything, but there are certain things that happen in Undertale that I don't see translated well to a console.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know how the hell they'll do that. I don't think it would go very well, honestly.
No, exactly. Either that or they're just going to leave those parts out, which will be such a shame.
I'm interested to see how it will work, but
exactly.
I
same.
feel like Undertale, it should just be for PC. It feels right on PC. It doesn't. Just the thought of it on a console, I don't know how they're gonna, go about that with the gameplay.
No, exactly.
And especially during that one bit that you did mention. I mean, that's a lot of things happen in that, and I don't know how that's going to affect even the console itself,
Then I think I'm going to skip some titles. Feel free to jump in if you have something. I don't.
I don't have the only gripe I have with Sony's conference is that there was no The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if Naughty Dog were to present one game, they chose Uncharted instead.
Yeah. The creative director Neil Druckmann actually said that they are looking forward to showing us more of Joel and Ellie's story, but right now it's, Chloe and Nadine's time to shine, which is completely understandable, because you don't want to... If they showed shit for The Last of Us Part 2, like after they showed shit for Lost Legacy, that would completely overpower The Lost Legacy, No one would care about that, because it'd be so focused on The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Good point.
But at the same time, I'm like, but... I'm basically like a bit of a 5-year-old. It's like, I just want it now. Hopefully they'll show it at PSX later this year, but I completely understand their reasoning for not showing it.
Yeah, absolutely. They showed a new God of War game, which I think is just going to be called God of War.
Yeah, I think it's just called God of War. Not
Reboots
happy about that?
And naming conventions. You guys, can we please have a real talk?
Yeah, I understand your feelings on that, because there are a ton of things that have been getting reboots lately, and it's just like, does that really need a reboot? Does it really?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get you on that front. But at the same time, like, as someone that's, once again, never played God of War, I was very sheltered when it came to those types of video games when I was younger.
Yeah.
But it looks great, I will admit. It looks pretty hardcore.
It's God of War now with kids, apparently.
Yeah, it's... One thing I did see online that someone mentioned is that a lot of directors, not just in video games these days, they're really hashing out the old warrior stuck with a child trope. I mean, you got The Last of Us, Logan, and now God of War.
That is true.
So, while I don't mind it, I did find that funny. That someone pointed that out.
One thing I started to think about, but I'm not sure if I'm right, I could be wrong, was that, okay, this is God of War. This is not like Greece anymore. This is cold environment. Are they going to tackle the Norse mythology? Because that could be interesting.
I think, from what I've seen, it looks like they're going down the Norse mythology route.
Because at the very end, there's this giant sea snake thing, and I'm like, that is from Norse mythology, indeed.
Yeah. So they're definitely going down the Norse mythology route with I think it's called the World Serpent.
Yeah. I mean, I know the Danish term, but that's not interesting.
One thing I will say about that part in particular, that was like a holy shit, him big. I think that was my initial thought, was just him big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Right after that, they showed more from Detroit Become Human.
I actually thought, like, when that was initially announced, I was like, oh shit, this looks fucking cool. But then I kind of lost interest when they showed gameplay. I mean, and the newer gameplay that they showed at E3, it does look cool, I will admit. I am somewhat brought back my intrigue, but not enough for me to pick it up.
It definitely looks very interesting. And they really have a heavy emphasis on interactive story with different outcomes. And as I've already mentioned in this very show, I am a sucker for that.
The script for that's got 2,000 lines or whatever, words or something.
It sounds incredible. It sounds massive.
Yeah, because I think it's from the same people that made Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. David Cage.
And each of his scripts have about 2,000 lines or whatever. So Beyond Two Souls had about 2,000 lines. Heavy Rain, same thing. This game, same thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because, I mean, from all those games, I've only played Heavy Rain, but I liked it a lot. So I'm ready to dive into that genre again, and especially from those guys.
I would be interested in picking it up because I haven't played it myself because I obviously couldn't afford to get the game at the time, but I watched a lot of Let's Plays for Beyond Two Souls, and I really like that game. Like, it was both like the endings that you could get for it and all the outcomes along with the story itself and the gameplay. I thought that was like a really, really good game. So
yeah, I never got around to play it.
If Detroit Become Human is anything like Beyond Two Souls, I would definitely be interested. As long as it doesn't have Heavy Rain's Sean glitch.
Oh, that was hilarious.
It doesn't get old, does it?
Sean!
Just, Sean! The killer's been caught! Sean!
That is such a funny
We can go
video.
now. Come on, Ethan. Sean!
I will also, speaking of Heavy Rain memes, I am also going to recommend looking up Heavy Rain Klutz Edition.
Oh no.
On YouTube. That is a chase sequence, but where you don't press any of the buttons in the QTE. And you're just this secret detective that's just falling over everything and running into people and stuff like that. It's so hilarious. Okay. Destiny 2 is back. And the only thing I wrote here is that this trailer looked more like a BioWare game than Anthem did. Then I got sad. But I was like, it showed story. Interesting story. It's like, okay, this looks like a sci-fi RPG that BioWare could have made.
Yeah. I know Destiny 2
dear.
is going to be a lot stronger than Destiny 1, apparently. But that's all I know.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Well, I sure hope it is.
I think a lot of people sure hope it is. Because even though Peter Dinklage was, voice acting a character, not even Tyrion Lannister can save Destiny.
No.
Even though he is so cool.
Absolutely. And now I'm going to gush a lot about Spider-Man.
Go ahead.
Because Spider-Man has always been my favorite superhero. I've always been a Marvel guy, and Spider-Man in particular has been number one. I have a Spider-Man print hanging on my wall. It says, with great power comes great responsibility. All that kind of stuff. I like Spider-Man a lot.
Yeah, same here.
Which is also why when I found out that the guys who made Infamous were working on a Spider-Man game, and it's a console exclusive for PlayStation 4, I was like, I need to get a PlayStation 4 then.
Yeah. I know there were a lot of people complaining about like the little QuickTime events in the gameplay, but
yeah.
Honestly, the gameplay didn't look that bad.
Exactly.
Like, I don't see why everyone's complaining, because it looks good.
It looks like what I would expect from any Spider-Man game, which is all right. I don't really know how we could innovate on that. I think it was a very interesting trailer because it showed how you can play it like a stealth game, pretty much, where you can sneak behind enemies and knock them out and stuff. It might be, sure, I mean, we have seen all these Arkham-style combat games, and this might be just another one, but, I mean, I looked at those combos, and they look super satisfying. Yeah. There's something in that animation that just like, wow, that looks pretty cool, actually.
One thing I will say to people that are complaining about the gameplay or the QuickTime events, I just want to say, like, what would you expect in a Spider-Man game? Or like a superhero game? Do you want Skyrim-type gameplay and combat? Like, or do you want something a bit more, like... I just feel like the gameplay that they showed with the Spider-Man one, it fits, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not perfect or anything, but it fits.
Yes. And yes, the quick time events were the downside of the gameplay, definitely. I do feel everything else looked very good. Especially the web swinging, where you actually have to target and time it to swing through.
I thought that was cool.
That looks so good.
Another thing I did notice... sorry, you continue what you were saying and then I'll say my thing.
Because in the two Spider-Man games that I have, which are based on the Spider-Man games back in the early 2000s, especially the first Spider-Man game, you could just like hold the button and Spider-Man would swing by himself between the buildings. But in this game, and I think they actually improved that in the second game, but I haven't played it yet. But in this game in particular, you really feel like that you actually have to target those swings and time it so you can keep yourself going, which looks great.
One thing I did notice during the trailer was that at the end they showed Miles, who's like the other Spider-Man, I think. I know there's like Peter Parker and then there's Miles Morales or whatever.
Yeah.
I know that got a lot of people like low-key hype.
As much as I said I was into Spider-Man at the beginning, I must admit I have not read the comics. I just grew up watching like the
movies and stuff.
The cartoon shows and the movies.
Yeah.
So that character was like, okay, he's probably someone because people seem excited. But I mean, there are so many Spider-Man cartoons. You have no idea, with different weird storylines and whatnot.
That's true. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with like not having read the comics. Like, if you've just watched the cartoons or whatever, if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're a Spider-Man fan. It's kind of like me with Wonder Woman. I'm the same way.
I guess.
I'm the exact same way. I've only just recently like read the comics for Wonder Woman.
Oh, nice.
Which are very good, by the way.
So, yes, Spider-Man. Man, I really want to play that so badly.
Me too.
That looked great. Also interesting to end off the conference showing, like, a Marvel game.
I suppose it's like, mind you, Spider-Man Homecoming's out now.
Oh, right.
Marketing.
Good point. Yes. Anyway, we are about done here. We just have the Nintendo left. Which I don't have that much to say. I mean, they showed ARMS, which is already out. They showed Rocket League, which was a surprise, but I mean, it's Rocket League. We know what it is. I'm gonna call it Pokken Tournament, even though it's Pokken, but it's spelled and it should be pronounced Pokken.
Yeah. One thing that did sort of interest me was that I have no idea what the game is actually called, forgive me, but it's that Mario game and you can control a T-Rex?
Mario Odyssey.
Yes, Mario Odyssey. I wasn't too sure if it was Odyssey or not, but yeah. That looked cool. I've never played a Mario game, but that looks cool.
It looks a lot better than the first teaser trailer that they showed when this Switch was announced, I feel.
Yeah.
We got to see a lot more stuff and gameplay and that kind of stuff. So I'm sold now. I would give it a go. But still, I'm like, why the real world? Why can't you throw a hat on a real-looking human and you can control him? I'm like, oh, I just get the strongest Sonic 06 vibes, and I don't like it.
True.
So, other than that, they revealed Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I haven't played the first one, but I've heard lots of good stuff about it. They did show a Kirby game, and my only comment was, looks just lovely, and then I made a heart.
Aww, cute.
Yeah, it looks so cute. Speaking of cute, they also revealed a Yoshi game that remind me so much of Little Big Planet. It's not even funny. They just really went and followed that art style completely. Two interesting announcements, and we didn't see anything of, was Metroid Prime 4 is now in development, which is good. More Metroid is good.
Hasn't it been a very long time since a Metroid game has come out?
I feel so, yes. I think the last one might have been Metroid Prime 3 for the Wii.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, they have had the Wii U in between, a whole console, with no Metroid games.
Shit.
So, for many, this is about damn time.
Because I know from talking to a couple of people, Cracker being one of them, is that, you know, a lot of people have been waiting for a Metroid game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I haven't, because I'm not that big of a Nintendo person, just purely because I grew up on PS4. Not PS4, but just PlayStation.
PlayStation in general. Yes.
Yes, PlayStation. But, you know, I can understand, you know, people waiting around for a game for, like, ages and ages, and, like, you don't hear any news of it. It's kind of like a Half-Life 3 situation.
Yeah.
And the
Exactly.
Metroid gets some news.
The other thing they announced or revealed or whatever, that Game Freak is working on a new core Pokemon game for the Switch. It might be more than a year away, but at least they're working on it now.
So Pokemon game is coming to the Switch.
Exactly. That strengthens the theory I had way when the Switch was announced, that that Nintendo might be moving away from having its own separate handheld thing and just have everything on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because the Switch is also handheld now.
That's true.
And so having Pokemon on that is a very big deal. Because if there is any system seller for their handhelds, it's Pokemon.
That's true. I mean,
I
know I've been thinking about getting a 3DS purely to play Pokemon Sun and Moon.
now might be a good time to do it too, because they have announced Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Ooh, I have no idea what they're going to add to Sun and Moon, because that was a perfect game in and of itself. But apparently they're re-releasing it, you could say, I guess.
Sort of like, I wouldn't say quite remastering, but they're just sort of like adding on to it in like a newer, fancier version.
I guess, yeah. But we have no details about what they're going to add yet, so
I'm surprised that
we'll see as time goes on.
I'm surprised they're like doing a newer version, considering that, you know, Pokemon Sun and Moon's only been out for what, a year?
I guess so, yeah.
Like roughly around a year. So
yeah,
like I'm curious about what they're even gonna do.
I mean, there was a lot of speculation that they were going to make Pokemon Stars, that would kind of be the third one in, so it would be Sun, Moon, and Stars.
Ah, okay.
Like they did with Red, Blue, and Yellow, and Gold, Silver, Crystal, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've heard that. I've heard about that as well. Actually, now that you mention it.
So, but now they just went another direction and made like a third game, but with both of them, so it's actually two, I guess. But yes, very interesting to see where that ends. They also showed us trailers for Breath of the Wild DLC, which I will cover briefly because I have played and completed that game.
Okay.
The Master Trials looks hardcore as fuck, so if you like Zelda but it's Dark Souls, then I guess that's what you should get.
Zelda but Dark Souls, okay.
Yeah, looked very, very challenging. If you like challenges, then go for it. You could also get new armor and stuff. Nothing too interesting there, but what was interesting was that they showed us a trailer for the story-based DLC, which is going to be called The Champion's Ballad. And judging from the brief trailer, where they showed like the four guardians, the four heroes thing that you have to save from the big creatures and whatnot, they showed those and Zelda and just a Champion's Ballad. So I'm like, is this a prequel maybe?
Huh. I guess, you know,
that's where I
find out
think
till
they're
it comes
going
out.
with it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It should be out around Christmas, I think. At least at the end of the year. Oh yeah, and then Amiibos. Hey, it wouldn't be Nintendo without Amiibos.
Oh yeah, that was another thing that they showed in the Bethesda one, where you could get like little Zelda Amiibos or whatever. You could like have Zelda's armor and sword. I don't know.
We need to talk about that because, of course, it wouldn't be Nintendo without Amiibo functionality, and that includes in Skyrim. So you can get like Link's armor and the Master Sword, and it looks so stupid. Oh my god, does it look stupid?
Yeah, it looks kind of strange, I'll admit.
And it's not even funny. I'm pretty sure you can already get a mod that adds the Master Sword to Skyrim.
Oh hell yeah!
There must be like at least 30 mods that does that.
Definitely. I mean, there's a mod for everything. Everything.
Literally everything.
If there is a mod that turns dragons into either Thomas the Tank Engine or Macho Man Randy Savage, then there's definitely mods for that as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh god, that Randy Savage one gives me just the heebie-jeebies.
So, yeah, that was pretty much Nintendo. So now we have covered every single conference in 2 hours.
Not too bad. We did well. High
Not too
fives
bad.
all around.
Hey, we did well. From all these games that were shown, which ones are you most excited about?
I will say, I'm just gonna pick up this list. I would say Life is Strange Before the Storm. That's one for me.
Yes.
Wolfenstein 2, which is strange because I didn't think I'd like a game like that.
Right.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yes.
Most excited about, I'd say, Uncharted Lost Legacy. That's one. And oh man, honestly, there wasn't that much. I expected them to done a bit. I expected a little more at the C3, you know.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that much to really get that hype about. But those were the main ones for me that got me like, oh shit, that actually looks really cool. I want to pick that up.
For me, number one, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah.
That cinematic trailer blew me away.
Same here. I loved it.
That was so cool.
Like, I'm very hard to sell with video games these days. I mean, when I was younger, you could easily just show me a little snippet of a trailer and I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go, mate, even though it would turn out to be completely shit. But I'm a lot more, I like to think I'm a lot more critical these days.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2, that looks fucking good.
Looks so good, oh my god.
I really want to play that.
Secondly, I have the Spider-Man game. And then Skull and Bones. I just want to see which direction it will go during development.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Plus, I mean, I just want more pirate games, man. And I'm just surprised that Ubisoft is making one. And I'm glad they are doing it, finally, because I remember back when Assassin's Creed 3 was a thing, I remember one comment in particular on a video was like, Ubisoft should just take the naval combat and make a full-on pirate game.
Yeah, and they kind of did that with Black Flag, but it wasn't
Kinda.
Yeah, it wasn't full-on, but they did bring back a lot more of the naval combat.
Yes, absolutely.
Which was, oh my god, the sea shanties. The shanties, man. Oh, love them.
Which conference did you like the most? Who did you think did the better job?
For me, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
They did the best. I mean, I would say that in terms of games that were announced, I'd say Sony is my number 2 pick. But Ubisoft won for me, hands down.
Yeah. In terms of what was presented, then yes, I agree with Ubisoft. But in terms with format, I might go with Sony, actually. Yeah. Because they did the polar opposite of what the PC gaming show did. There was no talking about the games. They just showed the trailers, which lets us make our own opinions and not getting them force-fed to us by a marketing person.
That's true.
And I like that a lot.
My question to you is, which conference do you think had, or which conference is the most lackluster?
Lackluster. That must be Bethesda. They didn't show anything.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are hoping for them to announce this new IP, which is, as far as everyone knows, it's called Starfield. But, yeah, it's like a sci-fi RPG in space. A lot different from KOTOR.
Interesting.
But a lot of people are hoping for that, and that didn't happen. And they didn't really...
Yeah.
Bethesda could have done a better job at explaining their, changes and stuff that they're bringing, like the Content Creator Club thing, you know? I mean, they had Hines come out at the start and at the end, but they should have had someone come out to explain that so there wouldn't be such an outrage over it. So I'd say for me,
and
Bethesda was
just the whole format of their presentation, where they presented Bethesda Land, and they had all these areas. Yes. And I'm just like, you kind of got the feeling in a way that Bethesda was just like, what we have made, this is what you're gonna see.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, great. I'm not learning anything then. I mean, it was just their highlight reel or their showcase of this is all the games that we have right now.
Yeah.
Like, great, but
where's that new shit?
what next?
Where's my Elder Scrolls 6, Todd?
Where is it?
I will come to your house and demand it. I'll just like set up a tent, sit outside the fence, and just be like staring in, waiting, hoping, watching.
Yeah. Either that, or you're just going up to a store and yell "Force Radar."
Yeah, exactly. Just shout to everyone until they give me Elder Scrolls 6. That works, right? Right?
Yep. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, for me, Bethesda was the lackluster one as well.
Yeah. So, yes, I guess that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it for the E3 special.
E3 special from the Sealand podcast. Yeah, this is a very special episode on multiple occasions. This is the first time we're making a special in general. But it's also the first time it's just going to be 2 out of 3 hosts.
That's true. It's like the Misclick Podcast Zealand edition.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. If you have been listening all the way through this thing. If you got here through a misclick, we hope that it turned out to be a happy little mistake. At least I hope that you learned something about hearing other people's opinion on what was shown at E3.
And hopefully your wounds will heal over time just as much as ours will.
At least our anthem.
Fucking BioWare!
I am Cosmironic. You can find me on Twitter if you like. That is Twitter at Cosmironic. Pretty straightforward. I was fast enough to get that. You, on the other hand, were not so lucky.
You can find me, obviously, on YouTube as Icewire, but on Instagram, well, not Instagram, fucking Twitter. On Twitter, that's usually where I live, where I hole myself up. I am at Icewire was taken, because my username is always taken on every single website. It's so annoying. But yes, I am Icewire was taken.
Nice. That has been the 2 of us. We are the Misclick Podcast, and you, the listener, are an amazing person. See you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye.